How are we going, guys? Just waiting for it to. Hello.
Hello.
Awesome. Cool. So I'll chop some of the start off. Hopefully get it running properly. Yep, that seems like it's running properly. Okay, so looking at maths this week. So the first thing we're doing is a times table thing. I feel like a lot of people are challenged by their times tables and it's slowing them down. So that's one of the things we're doing this week. I'm not going to explain that. If you need to read the instructions, you should be making a sort of pyramidish shape object with your times tables. Second thing, multiplication. Now, if you were in the chocolate mice, part of the thing that I saw last week and things that I saw were issues with people were there was a lot of multiplication errors. Now, if you're in the chocolate mice, I accept that we are doing algebra and our focus is algebra. So it's okay if you use a calculator to check your multiplication. In fact, you should. If you're in the Albert Feinbergs, I expect that you are working on it and becoming better. So let's talk it through. I'll show you one strategy. I'm only going to show you one strategy. I'm not going to go over a million strategies to solving these longer multiplications. And I'm going to do it in ridiculous detail. And I'm going to do it slowly. I'm just realizing that I'm running out of battery, so I'm going to have to move where I'm sitting. So, here we go. I'm going to go through the process. It is going to be slow. You need to watch it, and you need to do it step by step with me. Okay? So, up comes our blank screen. Just checking. Cool. And we're having a look at these questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a question that's very similar to sort of our middle one, the chocolate mice, and then I'm also going to do a ridiculous one, the Albert Feinbergs. As you can see, you have different work to do. So 25 times 34. So the first thing, I'm going to write the question up in the corner. 25 times 34. Now, one of the real important things with this is always looking for the easiest way to write them when you put them into this type of equation. This is called an algorithm. An algorithm in algebra. How funny. But I always like to put the smaller number at the bottom, unless the number at the top is super easy to work with. But general rule, smaller number at the bottom. So I'm going to put 34 on the top, and the smaller number, which is 25, on the bottom. Now I'm going to do some things that help me organize my thoughts. I'm going to put a line here. Then I'm going to put, because I've got two digits here, I'm going to put two lines up here. Now the reason why I put two lines is because I've got two digits. And there is something called carrying when you're doing this sort of equation. And when you carry, I might even carry with a different coloured pencil so you can see really clearly what my carried numbers are. When you carry, you want to carry it to a place so you can see where your carried numbers are. So from here, it's really simple. You start on your right multiplied by the right on the top, and then the right multiplied by the left on the top. So you start with the right one, multiply it by that one, multiply it by that one. If there was more, you'd just keep on multiplying it by it. So let's go through this. 4 times 5. Now, hopefully you've all done your times tables chart by now, and you realise that 4 times 5 is 20. Now, I'm putting the 0 of the 20 here, and I'm going to use my colour thing, and I'm going to put my 2 there. Now, you can see that it's a carried number, clearly, because I've coloured it a different colour. Now, I'm going to go on. 5 times 3. That's 15. So I'm going to put my 1 over here. Now, before I add my 5 right here, I've already got 2 up here. So I have to add the 2 to the 5 from the 15. And 15 plus 2 is 17. Now, because I have nothing more to do in this column, there's no 5, there's nothing there to multiply, I just pull this one down to here. That's my first line. Now my second line, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write in the second spot, but that is not actually a 2, it's a 20. Now we need to remember that that's not 2, it's actually 20. And just like when you're multiplying things by 10, you just multiply it by 1 and then add a 0. Or you just add a 0 to the number. So let's add a 0 because we're multiplying by 20, not by 2. So we've added that 0 there. The 0 from the 20 has gone right here. Okay, now we go 2 times 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. And 2 times 3 is 6. Now, this is where we go. So, I'm going to draw another line. Cha-ching! Again, I'm going to use my lines for carrying. Now, 0 plus 0, and now I'm adding again. You're always adding numbers together after you've done your multiplication. So the multiplication is in here, and you're adding these, and you're adding anything that's outside of that main box is added. So 2 is added to the 15 to get 17, etc. We'll do another example, but I'm trying to make it really clear. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 8 is 15. So I'm going to put the 1. Now, I've seen it put multiple places. I always put mine up there. Another place you could put it would be there. And in some ways, I like this better down here. So I'm actually going to put it down. Delete it from there. Make that smaller. It's too big. Too big. That's too small. I'm a walking disaster today. Started the stream without. So 7 plus 8 is 15. I've put my 1 right here. And now with my normal colour, we put the 5 here. So you can see it's 15. Now I just add these together. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 1 more, which we've carried from this equation. 7 plus 1 is 8. The answer to that equation, 34 times 25, is 850. Did I actually do a... Damn, I did a... Oh no, I didn't. Yes, I did. I did an actual equation from the chocolate mice. So that was a bit easy for you guys. So, if you've seen that, that's the process. So the next step, the exact same thing. We're going to do it with a harder equation. I'm not going to look at it. So obviously, if you're part of the chocolate mice, you probably aren't going to need to do this next one or watch this next section, but I want to do it anyway, and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to go for a real hard one. 997 times, oh, this isn't really hard. 297 times 54. This one's going to have a lot of carrying in it. So I know at least that I've got 2 on the bottom. So 2 on the bottom means I'm going to have 2 lines up the top. So here we go, 1 line, 2 lines. And down the bottom, after my equation. Cool. Now, 4 times 7, 28. So I carry my 2 to there, and I write my 8 in, right here. Notice how I kept the smaller number on the bottom because it's easier to work with. 4 times 9. 4 times 9 is 36. And then I'm adding that 2. So first I'm going to write the 30 in there. 36 plus 2 is 38. So it would be 36, but 4 times 9 is 36. I wrote the 3 there, and I would write the 6 here, but I've got this 2 to add to it. So it's 38. 4 times 2 is 8. Plus 3 is 11. So I put the 1 up there. and I put the 1 here. Now, do I have anything else to multiply? I don't, so I carry that 1 down. Now, quite often I'd skip that step of putting the 1 up there and then dragging it down afterwards, because it's not really needed, but I wanted to leave it there for you guys. Okay, but if you find that that's just an extra step, then you don't have to. The next line, because it's actually 50, it's not 5, we put a 0 down. 5 times 7 is 35. So we write the 5 in, that's easy. And we carry the 30. Now the trick to this is 5 times 7 is 35. Five times 9 is 45. Plus the 3. So it's 48. So 8. And then again, the 4 up there. So 9 times 5 is 45. Plus 3, 48. 9, and then 5 times 2 is 10. Plus the 4 is going to be 4. Oops, see, wrong colour. Let's just delete that. 14. Again, it would have been completely reasonable for you to have carried the 1 up there for 1. And then looked down your line and seen that there was nothing there, so you could just add it to the end. Okay? There's a few technique things that make this second line more difficult, especially when you've got lots of carrying, is because and we can talk about that later. I'm not going to go into explaining that actually, because I could end up confusing you. As long as you if you keep to what I've done there, you'll be okay. Then we just have to add these numbers together. So once again, I'll have to rewrite them because I've written it all too big. 1, 1, 8. 8 plus 1, 4. I'm trying to keep these numbers underneath each other. It's pretty hard on the old computer. 5. And again, I'd have that line. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. So I write the 3 in. And I carry the 1. Carry it to there. 1 plus 1 plus 8 is 10. So I write the 0 in. I carry the 1 again. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6. And 1 plus nothing is 1. The answer to 297 times 54 is 16038, or 16,038. Cool. The last task is simply to draw patterns that have these formulas. Things to watch out, guys, with. The things to watch out with. How long is my minute? 13 minutes. It's not too bad. Things to watch out with is these questions. For example, this one says n times 4 minus 2. Well, if the number is n times 4 minus 2, minus n minus 2. So if the number was 1, for example, 1 times 4 is 4, minus number 1 minus 2. So 1 take away 2 is negative 1. And if you're minusing a negative number, you actually get a positive number. So the answer to the first block for this one is 5. Again, these are the ones that don't panic. You shouldn't be able to do these. These are challenge questions. Anything that's in yellow, it's just putting it there for a challenge. This one is very bizarre. And it's the same with this one here. So they are there for challenges. Most of them will just look like, squares in your books, patterns. You can make patterns. You can make it look like a star or just blocks. I don't mind how it is, but you're going to make them patterns using these formulas. And you need to make those patterns up to 5. I'll make it up to 4. But if you look at, that one's a real tricky one because your first one is going to give you a higher number than your second one. Your pattern is actually going to go down before it goes back up again. Oh well, have fun with that, guys, and I'll see you next week.